On June 29, 2025, at 11:24 a.m. local time, the world woke up to news of one of the most powerful earthquakes in modern history. Yes, Russia is rewriting history with an 8.8 magnitude earthquake that struck the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East. The horrific earthquake triggered a series of tsunamis that struck coastal areas across the Pacific Ocean, from Russia's Kuril Islands to Japan, Hawaii, British Columbia, and beyond. Kamchatka Governor Vladimir Solodov described the disaster as the most powerful in decades. Now, as I reflect on this episode, widespread evacuations and evacuation operations have begun. What's the story behind this earthquake? And how extensive was the damage caused by the tsunami? The Kamchatka Peninsula is a remote and rugged region in Russia's Far East, and it's no stranger to seismic activity, as it lies on the Pacific Ring of Fire. This ring is a volatile belt of tectonic activity, and it is believed
In the Pacific Ocean, a single region boasts more than 100 active volcanoes. However, the 8.8 magnitude earthquake was a rare occurrence, the sixth most powerful ever recorded. The earthquake's epicenter was 19.3 kilometers deep, increasing its destructive power, as shallow earthquakes close to the Earth's surface significantly increase the likelihood of generating a tsunami. The city of Chile, with a population of about 165,000, described the shaking of the ground for several minutes as unprecedentedly terrifying moments. Some left their homes without clothes, while others grabbed whatever valuable furniture and jewelry they could and fled into the streets. Yaroslav, a 25-year-old Russian man, told Reuters, "I was in my apartment when it started. The furniture was shaking, the near shattered, and I ran outside without my shoes." The press quickly helped spread the news globally, with videos going viral on all platforms, showing the chaos and panic.
An earthquake creates chaos and panic as if it were the day of judgment. Cars sway in the streets, balconies tremble, and roofs collapse. The most dangerous phase of an earthquake is the aftershock, which makes you anxious and terrified because you never know when the next tremor will strike. Therefore, you are prohibited from entering your home or resting as you remain alert and vigilant at all times. The earthquake measured 6.9 magnitude, putting residents on high alert for any new tremors. The earthquake caused the facade of a kindergarten in Kamchatka to collapse. Fortunately, there were no children inside the building, which was under renovation. The region's airport was damaged, injuring one woman. Others were injured while fleeing, some of whom jumped from windows to escape. The earthquake's shallow depth and proximity to the coast paved the way for a subsequent tsunami. Within minutes of the earthquake, Governor Vladimir Solodov issued a tsunami warning to residents, urging them to climb to any high place, mountain, plateau, or building in the nearby Kuril Islands.
On an island in Russia's Sakhalin region, a state of emergency was declared after tsunami waves, some reaching 5 meters, 16 feet high, a story and a half high, struck the coastal town of Severokursk, home to about 2,500 people. Flooding swept through ports, submerged factories, and swept ships from their moorings. Drone footage showed streets transformed into rivers, filled with water and debris. The tsunami became a global event across the Pacific Ocean, with tsunami effects felt from Russia to Japan and Hawaii. Warnings were even issued that a tsunami was imminent in New Zealand, Ecuador, and Peru. In Russia's Kuril Islands, tsunami waves measuring 3 to 5 meters, 10 to 15 feet, struck Severokursk, paralyzing traffic and causing power outages for thousands of residents. The government of Russia's Sakhalin region said that about 1,700 residents had been evacuated to safe areas. Virgely Bidet, the Minister of Emergencies Sakhanska, emphasized in stern language the need to stay away from beaches at all costs because tsunamis, like aftershocks, are unpredictable and can strike multiple times over a period of hours.
Or even for days, humans weren't the only ones affected. Even animals, especially marine life, were affected. Videos widely circulated on Russian social media showed volunteers trying to rescue a whale in Beirut, pouring water on it to keep it alive after it was stranded on the shores during the receding waves. In Japan, earthquakes and tsunamis had become part of the country's history and identity due to their reoccurrence over hundreds of years, especially the 2011 magnitude 9.0 earthquake and the subsequent tsunami, which killed more than 18,000 Japanese and caused the Fukushima nuclear disaster, considered the second Chernobyl. The word tsunami is even a Japanese term composed of two words, tsu meaning port or bay, and nami meaning wave. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued evacuation orders for 1.9 million Japanese across 220 municipalities along the Pacific coast, especially in Hokkaido and Honshu. Tsunami waves were recorded and were expected to reach 3 meters in height. This news put the authorities on high alert, as it showed the
Footage from NHK shows residents of Hokkaido rushing to repair buildings and balconies. At the Fukushima nuclear plant, 4,000 workers were evacuated to higher ground as a precaution against any disaster. No one knows what might happen, but God forbid the Fukushima disaster could happen again. Even Hawaii, thousands of kilometers from the epicenter, was not spared, with warnings issued for the entire state, predicting waves could reach a full 3 meters by 7 p.m. Tsunami waves as high as 1.2 meters reached the Hawaiian Islands. All commercial ports were closed, and all flights to and from Maui were canceled. Traffic jams occurred in Honolulu due to panic and fear, despite people heeding evacuation orders and moving to higher ground, such as mountains, plateaus, or even the fourth floor of buildings. Tsunami warnings extended to Alaska, California, and Oregon, as well as Washington, Guam, Samoa, Tonga, and parts of Latin America. In Alaska, tsunami waves as high as 60 centimeters were reported, while the California coast was placed under heightened surveillance and warnings were in place. Residents were urged to stay as far away from the coast as possible due to the tsunami's swirling waters. On the U.S. island of Guam, residents were urged to move to the center of the island in case of any danger. The horror reached China, where more than 280,000 people were evacuated, and flights and ferries were suspended in Zhejiang province. The Philippines, Indonesia, and countries as far away as Peru and Mexico issued important warnings to all coastal residents. At this time, due to the news being so recent, the damage has not been fully assessed, but initial reports paint a grim picture of the devastation in Russia's Far East. So far, no deaths have been reported, a testament to the effectiveness of early warning systems and rapid evacuation. Information is still limited, and Russian authorities have not reported any missing persons, thanks to the swift evacuation of 1,700 Coral Island residents and others from Kamchatka. In Japan, extensive evacuation efforts prevented significant loss of life, which is understandable given Japan's location. Japan is one of the world's most experienced countries in mitigating the economic impacts of disasters and the aftermath of earthquakes and tsunamis. The earthquake has already affected many countries and coastal cities that rely on tourism. In fact, an earthquake and tsunami can impact global markets, particularly in marine sectors such as fishing, as Russia's Far East is one of the world's largest suppliers of seafood. The evacuation of nearly 2 million people in Japan has disrupted daily life and virtually paralyzed it. Ferries and local train services were suspended, and businesses along the Pacific coast were closed. Although only small waves from the tsunami arrived, this earthquake brought to mind the 2011 disaster and the Fukushima nuclear reactor explosion, which turned that Japanese region into a ghost town that people still fear to this day. The nice thing about this topic is that I discussed this disaster in detail in a detailed episode, the Fukushima disaster episode. Click on it and watch it. Wait, you didn't answer the question. Why did this happen? Because you haven't subscribed yet. By the way, did you like the studio? Yes, I usually draw, but I was in a hurry. Don't forget to comment to win prizes. Bye.